What's up, everybody? It's Ariana. Welcome back. And today we're talking about menopause. So buckle up. And I'm sure that if you're here, you're in your 40s or 50s, most likely, and suddenly sleep has turned into a really tough time for you. Welcome. You are not alone. You're not broken. We are just in the middle of probably one of the most tumultuous hormonal times a person can go through. And you're not imagining things. Amongst all of the different things you go through at this point in your life, sleep disruption is one of the most common and most frustrating challenges during menopause and perimenopause. You have trouble falling asleep, you're waking up multiple times a night, you've got the night sweats, you've got the early morning wake-ups, feeling exhausted even after you've been sleeping for the last 12 hours. It's all normal, but it's also disruptive to your everyday life. So today we're going to talk about why menopause affects sleep so strongly, and then I'm going to give you a couple of realistic solutions, and hopefully they're going to help you. We're here for you. So first, to explain why menopause causes so many issues with sleep. It's not just about the period stopping, it's about the full body hormonal shift, and sleep is one of the first systems to feel it. The main players here are estrogen and progesterone. So estrogen helps regulate body temperature and it supports sleep, restorative sleep specifically. It fluctuates and declines throughout a person's entire life, and your internal thermostat can become less stable, which is why hot flashes and night sweats become so common, because your estrogen is definitely doing a lot of this. So the opposite, I guess, sort of estrogen is progesterone, and that has a calming effect on the nervous system. When it drops, sleep can feel lighter, more fragmented, and harder to maintain. So you add to that you're also going to deal with increased anxiety or racing thoughts at night. That can also be due to the fluctuations in estrogen, changes in your circadian rhythm just naturally, and then greater sensitivity to temperature and more frequent nighttime wakings. And suddenly sleep just feels like a fragile thing. It feels like it's made of glass. So that can be why when people say things like, hey, just practice good sleep hygiene, that doesn't help, because you can do everything right and still wake up drenched in sweat at 3 a.m., as we all know. So of all the things that I've mentioned, the biggest thing to mess with your sleep is going to be overheating at night, unfortunately. And it could be a small increase in body temperature, just a couple of degrees, but that can be enough to pull you out of a deep sleep. And when you're dealing with hot flashes, you're not just warm, you're suddenly and intensely hot, like to the point of sweating. There are a lot of things out there that can help: fans, cooler pajamas, cooling sheets. These all do help a little, but they don't adjust dynamically as your body changes through the night. So sometimes that's not enough. And that's where things like temperature control can become a game changer. See, we live in a magical time where we can go a little beyond the air conditioning and the fans and the watching our diet before bed. And we can focus on things like pillows, mattresses, and blankets that can help us with that too during the night. Personally, one of our favorite solutions that's particularly useful during menopause is the 8 Sleep Pod. Basically what that is a temperature-controlled mattress cover made by the company 8 Sleep that actively heats or cools your side of the bed throughout the night. And that can matter for a number of reasons, but here are a few. First off, it's going to respond in real time. So if your body temperature rises during a hot flash, the system can cool you down automatically, which helps to prevent full wake-ups, if any wake-ups at all. Second off, it's customizable. So if you sleep next to somebody with a totally different temperature preference, each side of the bed can be set independently. So you don't have to worry about waking up the person you're with. And third, and this is most important for anyone nervous about sweating or water-based systems. There are no leaks. The 8 Sleep Pod is sealed. It's a closed loop system designed specifically for long-term use on mattresses. So not only is your sweat and your wet not getting through to the bed, but the bed, you're not sleeping on exposed water or loose tubing. That's not an issue. So for many people, simply staying at a stable, cooler temperature automatically is going to help with sleep continuity. And it's going to help with time spent in deep sleep. It's going to have, which all of course is going to lead to how rested you feel in the morning. So it's not going to fix hormones, obviously, but it removes one of the biggest triggers for nighttime awakenings. Now, if you're already dealing with that, or you're already working on with your bed, but you need some other sleep strategies, here are a few. They should work well with temperature control. We highly suggest that, but here are a few other things that might help. One is consistent sleep timing. So even if your sleep quality varies, keeping a regular bedtime actually pushes that circadian rhythm. That's that rhythm that's able to tell when to wake or sleep. It pushes it into its own consistent state. Second is not to stimulate yourself too much at night. That could include working out too close to bed, eating foods that are spicy, drinking alcohol before bed, basically anything that's going to make the nervous system more reactive before bed. So that could also include bright screens, late caffeine usage. Generally, if you're dealing with this problem, we suggest not drinking caffeine past noon and definitely not past 2 p.m. Thirdly, breath-based calming of the nervous system can really help out a lot, because even though your nervous system might feel like it's already calm, sometimes you still need to get your body into that parasympathetic, that's that rest or digest point. And by doing that, just having slow belly breathing, relaxing techniques can definitely teach your body that you are safe and calm and able to lay down. And fourth, of course, you should talk to a healthcare provider if you have not already, especially if your symptoms are severe, because they might be able to offer other options and other treatment plans that you might not have thought of. There's new stuff coming out all the time. Remember, the goal isn't necessarily perfect sleep in this case, it's less disrupted sleep. Perfect sleep would be great, but we are in a point where that may not be a possibility. So all of that to say that sleep during menopause can definitely feel unpredictable and unfair. Just remember that this is not a personal failure, and that while it is something that you have to get through, it's not something you have to power through. So understand what's happening with your body the best way you possibly can, remove those major disruptors like overheating, and use the tools that are available to help with those psychological and physiological changes, and that will make a huge difference. If there's anything else that you need help with, please make sure that you drop a comment. We love answering comments. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them. And thank you for watching. Here's to cooler nights, more restorative sleep, and eventually less hormonal chaos. See you in the next one.